Hello, everybody. It's Victoria Lorient-Fabish, registered psychotherapist, holistic psychotherapist, and I'm here with the incomparable Julie Ward, who's a relationship and intimacy expert. And we are here to talk about, well, some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love the work that you do. And you know what's really cool? Firstly, I just want to say to everybody, happy Wednesday. And I hope you're taking advantage of the warm weather, even though it's a little bit rainy here in Toronto. I just want to welcome everybody. And as you come on, tell me you're here and tell us that you're present. And we're going to start to proliferate this beautiful experience. So I'm going to share. So bear with me, Julie. I'm going to do some a little bit of sharing so that we have, you know, everyone with us live, if possible.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's good. Tell us a little bit about where did you travel from to get here?
Well, this morning I came from the armpit of Ontario, Hamilton.
Although Hamilton is pretty cool.
It's actually got some wonderful spaces there. And
Yeah.
It's being
Hamilton's
gentrified.
fantastic, yeah.
It's been gentrified.
Lots
a
going
lot.
on there. My father used to live there, or
Oh, yeah?
have
Yeah.
property there, so that's very
Yeah.
cool. And how was the drive in? Like, I always get concerned about people driving into Toronto. How was that?
Today was really good. I left very early, so I was here with tons of time. It was smooth sailing. I was like in flow, so it really felt good, and
Yes.
and like there was no obstacle getting here. So
Well,
it felt
you were meant to be here,
I know,
obviously.
I know. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit, the thing that I'm most fascinated about the work that you do is, you know, very courageous work to work with, you know, I know you don't only work with sexual trauma, but one of the areas of work that you do,
Yes.
which is, I believe, very courageous work,
Yeah.
is sexual trauma and people who are recovering from it and couples that need to get past it and those kinds of things. And
Yeah.
and you have a pretty interesting, or I don't know if interesting is the word, but I would say
traumatized
past. I mean,
yes,
you're
absolutely.
not coming from a place that you don't understand people that
Exactly.
that have gone there. Hi, Gina. Hi, Julia. Thank you so much for joining, and please share as you come on, because sharing is caring. And also, periodically I can't share on groups, so please share on your pages, on your groups, all those things. And thank you for being here. And hi, Joshua. I'm so glad you're here. But tell us a little bit about, if you would, your journey.
Well, yeah, I think for me, when I was 14, I had two experiences of being gang raped. Within 3 months of each other. Both were, you know, violating, brutal, left me very traumatized. So
Yeah.
in my teens, I disassociated. And at the time, this is back, I'm aging myself here, but this is back in the 70s, right?
Yes, 70s. So
Yeah,
not a lot of
so-
consciousness going on around that time frame.
No, not at all.
The
not at
consciousness
all.
was low.
It
Yes.
was
Okay,
low,
yeah.
and there was all the blaming and shaming of women for, why did you go to the house? Because I was at a house party the first time it happened.
But
right?
you were...
14.
Oh my gosh, of
You know?
course, yeah.
But if my parents found out I'd been at a house party, you know, that was it's weird how the thought processes, you know, I was more concerned about being caught having gone to a house party than being totally violated violently and yeah.
Wow.
So it was interesting about that and the shame around all that. So for me, when that
As someone
happened,
hearing you, I just want to do this and go, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're
I
coming.
am okay.
Yeah.
It took it's taken a long time. In my teens,
Right.
I checked out. I disassociated. There was a disassociation.
Yeah.
My body, my feminine creature,
Yeah.
betrayed me. So there was conversations about that I didn't identify at the time. It was years later in my
Right.
20s where I was in a very safe and loving relationship that I could have that structure
Okay.
to actually relax and trust. And it was so funny when everything was beautiful and good and relaxed, all of a sudden then the feelings started percolating up, and I felt in my 20s.
Wow.
In my teens, I was like this, you know,
So you almost didn't process it in your teens,
I
but
did
as soon
not.
as you're relaxed in a good relationship, you start melting, and the trauma thoughts start to surface.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
And I suffered this, you know, I was feeling this enormous pain in my early 20s. And it was interesting because, I mean, life was like peak. Work was good, relationship, everything was good.
was good.
Everything was good. everything was great, and then all of a sudden this hit me, and I literally woke up one morning. Like some people call it a spiritual crisis, I don't know, but I was connected between heart and body and soul. Like I was totally connected.
Wow.
But I felt this enormous amount of pain, it was just like, oh. I ended up going to see a psychiatrist at the time.
What were you presenting with that a psychiatrist was the go-to?
Depression.
Okay.
I had lethargy. I felt heavy in my body. I felt like I just felt sad and grief, like enormous grief. Right.
It was a tough time.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was. But I remember going to this psychiatrist, and as this woman is taking down my history, and she's wincing. I'm watching her. I'm reading her body. And she's going, "Ow, ooh, ee," as she's writing this.
Wow.
I'm exaggerating.
But she's taking it in.
Oh yeah, but I can. At that point, my sense of feeling out into other people was strong, and I could catch all these energetic winces, and sometimes physical winces in her body as well.
And also woman to woman, probably. She was a female?
Mm-hmm,
yeah. Mm-hmm. We feel the female experience. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't care if you're a professional or not, you're feeling I'm sure people that are listening are feeling or experiencing some of this. Yes.
Yeah. So her recommendation right off the get-go was, because I was feeling so heavy and depressed, like it was just this weight of feeling this huge pain body that I had, that I hadn't processed for many, many years, like 7-8 years. I hadn't processed it. Her suggestion was to put me on Prozac so that I could be happy and process. So
not a bad concept.
It's not a bad concept, except for me, and I mean, it's a great concept to help get out and bootstrap people up into a place
so
where
they can actually
function.
process. Yeah,
I was functioning. I had walked into her office. I got myself there. It wasn't like I was not functioning.
Right.
So for me, that her way of going through drug therapy was not what I had said to her. I said, "This is the first time I'm actually feeling this pain."
Right.
Yeah, I'm feeling something below my neck. I'm actually here. And it's horrible, it's sad, it's heavy, and I'm feeling it. And I don't want you to take that away from me, because the way through is through the pain.
The wisdom that you had as a young person.
Yeah.
And you knew that the way through, that there's no way around the mountain.
That's right.
That you got to feel.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, I think it's not just me having wisdom. I think all of us, all women, all men, we all have this inner wisdom. Being a coach. It's not about, here, let me tell you, you've got to, don't do drugs, don't do it my way. It's not that. It's like everyone has an intuitive way when they allow themselves to be. Like I was, again, fortunate to have this safety net in an environment that allowed me to be and to process in a safe and nurturing and loving way.
Yeah.
And everybody needs that. Trying to push your way through, and I got to heal this. I've seen. I remember one of my clients, and she presented, and she had done a ton of different modalities, therapies, and different things. And when she presented, she says, "Oh, I'm all through that. I'm good. I'm good."
Good. Yeah.
But her face, and this is it with trauma, it stays stuck in her body, and her trauma was this literally frozenness in her face. She had this perma smile on, and everything is good, and so I could see that she needed, it wasn't just in her face, I'm sure, I know that it was trapped in other areas of her body. And I know you do this type of work with the somatic experiencing, and we both know Peter Levine's work.
Peter Levine, who wrote Waking the Tiger.
I love that book.
And is a powerful master when it comes to the work that we do, which is with trauma. And I actually not just do the somatic experiencing, but it's actually body work.
Yeah.
And it's very tough sometimes for people. It's something that you've got to almost. It's a tough journey to feel all of that.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's processes in doing body-centered psychotherapy, body-centered work. I have some of that, but not near the degree that you practice and study. But I've also introduced Tantra into my because it's about that embodiment, the feminine embodiment. Whether you're a man or a woman, we all have this feminine essence.
Get the itchy nose again. I get the itchy nose sometimes when I'm doing this show, because, especially with the guests, because I feel like we're on the right track. This is the universe talking.
Yeah. So that's part of the healing journey, is to connect the head to the body, and it's so interesting. And I say the feminine. It was so interesting. I walked into a public washroom before I came here, and there's the symbol of women's washroom. There's a head disassociated with the body,
right?
And that's how it is a lot of times, is that we've been indoctrinated to be mindful, be meditative, and we think our feelings, as opposed to trusting the inner body wisdom of what's there, and focusing on the messages that are there.
Definitely. And the longest journey is, from the head to the heart. That's the biggest connection. The biggest connection, the biggest journey. People who are very cerebral to cope with. A lot of people who go through trauma become extremely cerebral to be able to just cope.
Yeah.
And then really the journey is to get out of the brain and into the body and the heart, and that's really tough. And hi, Lynn. Thank you for joining us, and Idris. I really, really appreciate it. As you come on here, please share, because people need to hear about this stuff. This is, I think, extremely valuable information that Julie's sharing with us, and I so appreciate that you're here.
Yeah. Hi, Josh.
Hey, did I see Josh? Oh, I missed Josh.
Josh
Thank
is
you.
an amazing VA who's worked for me.
Yeah,
he's
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here, Josh.
Yeah.
And I actually know Josh from the Catherine the celebration of women stuff that he attends.
We Wednesday.
Yes, we Wednesday. Thank you.
Catherine's lovely.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd love you to talk a little bit about work that you might do with a couple. Do you do work with couples?
I do.
Yeah. Do you bring in the tantra with couples?
I certainly do.
That's amazing. I love that you do that.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And what would be some key messaging to a couple that is going through, that one person has experienced sexual trauma and they just can't meet on the intimacy plane, or they can't even meet at that intimacy plane has even ruined other planes of communication. I know I'm putting you on the spot because we don't talk. I like to be spontaneous, but
these aren't prescribed.
No, exactly. We're just having we're having a conversation, a courageous conversation.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll use one scenario where there's been trauma with women. With a woman. She's been, say, sexually abused in her past, and her husband's now engaged with her. One of the things, and we're talking about getting in the body, is there are closures in the body, whether it's in the vagina or in the chest or it could be anywhere. I know one woman, if she was touched on her hips, she flinched and she had flashback images
right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
So instead of, for the partner, if you realize that it's to be finely attuned and present with your woman, first off. Not in your head thinking, oh, this feels good, but really be with her. Men and women both want intimacy, and they want the spiritual connection beyond rote sex. Anyone could go out and have rote sex, and I know I've done it, and I'm sure other people have too.
Absolutely.
There's levels of intimacy, and so rote sex, technical sex, is one level of intimacy, because you do have to get naked, hopefully, or not.
Whatever floats your boat.
Right.
But in this case, what we're talking about is a couple that may be interested in operating from the healing perspective.
That's right. Yeah. So part of the practice is deep relaxation. All right. Okay. So the feminine, in order for her to be, wide open, she needs to be relaxed. So the part of the practice in advance is causing states of relaxation for your partner, to have her in her feminine in a trusted way. So it could be anything from if she's busy and she's in her masculine, which is the protector, go, think, and you want her to drop into feeling, then perhaps do things like run her a bath. and lower the lights and create an ambiance, and not necessarily be with her in that space,
Right.
but let her just sink into herself. Bring her a glass of wine to open up, not get her drunk, but just to relax and release some of the tension.
So what you're talking about, just to interject, is the turning on that relaxation response.
That's right.
Which is the nervous system that
That's
allows
right.
us
Yes.
to tell the brain we're not at war.
We're not
in a scary
we're not
place.
being attacked.
Yeah. And then coupling the concept of sexuality alongside relaxation. Because sexuality before was coupled with tension and
Yes.
scariness.
That's right.
So we're rewiring the brain.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
And then other practices would be even the art of massage. You know, and it's interesting. There's a man that I know in Toronto. He does couples massage. He does women's massages for couples, because what his his practice is most men don't have, within about 10-15 minutes of massaging and having a woman start to moan and loosen up, and she may not be ready for sex. She might be wet, but she may not be ready for sex at that point.
Right.
But there's still, you know, kinks in the nervous system,
Right.
that need to be smoothed out. Some men don't have the stamina or the discipline, perhaps, to go more than 10-15 minutes. And a woman, for her to be in this melted, putty in your hand state, may take half hour. So practice going longer, not in service of, I can't, this is the, you know, it is a precursor to lovemaking, possibly. But
So it's not actually the lovemaking piece, it's the precursor.
The precursor,
Yeah, which is
foreplay.
so important. So important, yeah.
Foreplay. And it's about just causing her to relax and trust you. And maybe it's not about, okay, now that she's all warmed up, let me jump right in there. It may not be anything more than just allowing her and giving to her so she feels safe and nurtured. And these things evolve over time. It's not, when I do this, I get this.
It's not results oriented.
No.
It's process oriented.
Yes, which the masculine is, you know,
very results oriented.
very linear thinking,
Yes.
right? It's like, do this, get that, do if then else, right?
Yes.
So, and the other thing with that is checking in and giving her verbal cues as well. How does this feel? Is that too light?
And you coach people to communicate in that way.
Yes.
So that there is that atmosphere.
Now my nose is itchy.
I'm telling you.
What is this?
Well, I'm telling you, we have a little bit of a little, I don't know, energy in the room.
Bewitched.
Yeah, exactly. I do get the itchy nose when I do this work, because I know somehow it's a sign, and I don't know, call me woo-woo sometimes. I'm very scientifically based, but I'm also quite woo-woo, that we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Hi, Caroline. Thank you for joining us. So you coach people to actually get into that way of communicating and that way of interacting.
That's right.
So that they come out of that sort of rote way of doing the sexual experience.
Yeah.
It may be, I don't know what you think about this, I sometimes tell people, you know, take the pressure off sex entirely, and all we're working on for a while is the foreplay and the connection and the relaxation.
Yeah. That's right.
Now, have you ever...
Breath work
is very important.
Eye-to-eye contact. One of the practices that I will have couples do is literally just sit facing face-to-face, close on, close off, with some ambiance, whatever they want, and actually make eye contact, not two eyes, but left eye to left eye. The feminine side is the left side.
Loving it.
So the receptive side is feminine, and it's the left. So left eye to left eye, and just hold that gaze, and then back and forth go, I love this about you, I love that about, back and forth. And beyond, you know, and not to do it for a minute, but to do it for 5 minutes, and which is a long, long time. But there could be pregnant pauses and stillness and silence where you're just gazing at each other. And it opens up the conduit to the heart.
This is how the heart starts to open.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any conversations or case studies of men who have experienced trauma?
I've worked with men that have experienced trauma, and
I mean that's it's a different.
It's different. It's for men, I find that it puts them in a place of shame, which is the deepest and darkest of energies. It's like they did something wrong. So the
shame.
It's
the journey into the rabbit hole of absolute destruction.
Yes.
It really, really
Yes.
is. It
Yes.
really, really is.
And the coming out is finding out who you are.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so with
the
men,
work is
with
di-
men
the work
it's
is
different. Yeah.
It is different.
What would you say? How would you work that process? Or
when I start with the thought processes and peeling back the layers and the distinctions. So it's more mindful to begin with.
because they're men, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then there's the dropping in through the breath into the body.
Right.
So teaching tantric breath work of sorts. And when I say teaching, it's everyone has a natural rhythm to their breath. It's not like do it this way, do it that way. It's about actually honoring your own breath, honoring how you breathe, honoring how it feels to you.
I'm actually breathing in that way just
Yeah.
as you talk about it.
Yeah.
Just as you talk about it.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing for someone who finds themselves in PTSD, post-traumatic stress? They remember, they start to remember, and they find themselves, I was fine last month,
Yeah.
and now I'm not, which occurs.
Yeah.
It's sometimes exactly how it occurs.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm so happy. I've got
Yeah.
such a great job.
That's what happened to me.
Exactly.
Like peak life experience.
And I'm thinking of a number of clients, to be
woke
honest with you.
up,
I'm thinking of
woke
a
up.
number of
Yeah.
people. So I'm so happy. Things are great. And boom, I can't have sex. This kind of experience of things my brain can't, people say the brain just starts to invade with intrusive thinking.
Totally.
And so what would you say is the most important first line of defense as they start to discover this? Because they don't just call a therapist or a coach right away.
No, well, I think the tendency is to self-isolate, for one thing, is to withdraw, to go inwards,
Right.
and then your partner won't know what's going on, and then it causes other things. So first line of defense is to connect with your inner circle, whoever that is. Connect with, whether it's seeking help through a registered therapist such as yourself, whether it's a coach through me.
Yes.
Definitely this is not a go-it-alone moment in your
Right.
life. And it's counterintuitive.
And I was gonna
because
say,
most
that's-
it's totally counterintuitive. It's all you want to do is just shut down. You want to shut down the feelings. You want to shut down. You don't want, there's again shame about this is what's going on for me. I can't even voice it. I can't recognize it. I don't want to recognize it.
One of the people I worked with said, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the person who's had trauma and now has got all these issues.
Yeah, I'm just like,
you know what?
Not me. And
Right.
it's like, yeah, it's a part of you that is at this.
It's not all of you. It's a part of you.
It's a part of you that wants to be healed, that wants to be integrated into the fold. And the beauty of doing very gentle and guided, it's not something that has to rip and tear at the fabric of your being. It's like everyone has different ranges of what they can. And it's like if you went to yoga, your first time at yoga, and you're supposed to hold a pose. You hold the pose, and it might be a little bit shaky there, right?
Right.
But you hold it until you feel confident and you trust yourself with that pose. And then you stretch a little deeper. Right?
Yeah.
It's not about, let's go and do some twisted somersault handstand
Right.
thing day one and break your neck.
Never.
That's a re-traumatization. The whole point is not to
That's a re-traumatization.
Yes.
So don't try and solve this quickly.
Exactly.
It's the slower the better.
Slower the gentle.
And gentler the better
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
And even that can be too much for people. I have worked with people who
Yeah.
I could work so incredibly slowly, but even that might be too fast.
Right.
So it's got to be this incredibly respectful relationship to the experience.
Yeah, and it can take years, especially the longer people have held that inside.
Right.
The sooner people recognize it and start doing some work around that.
Right.
The easier it is. It doesn't stick in the body. It
Right.
doesn't become a hardened pattern in the body.
Right. Oh, so just talk a little bit about what a hardened pattern in the body might look like for people to understand, I'm in a hardened pattern.
A hardened pattern would be a habitual pattern. So a hardened pattern is when the access to relaxation, to love, to feeling is shut off.
Right.
So
Can't even recognize relaxation as something that
so
you can identify with.
Some things people do to escape from They start heavy exercise, like just
Okay.
really like, I'm going to work this out. I'm going to work out this pressure and stuff, and they actually become hardened in their bodies. You know, like they're fit. That's awesomeness, and I more power to them. And yet it's a compensation for something that went wrong.
Right.
So it never leaves people satisfied.
And what about the notion of when a person experiences the very foreign experience of relaxation, they start to feel pain,
fidgety,
emotional pain, fidgety. They can't relax.
Legs start to
exactly.
legs. So hardened pattern would be things that pay attention to. Is the legs start getting jittery, the mind starts going.
I got to stay busy in order to be okay. I got to stay busy in order to be okay.
I got to go clean the house. I can't be by myself. Can't be by myself is one of the big ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny. It's when the trauma hits. It's like you want to withdraw, and yet being alone means being with these feelings.
Yeah.
And so it's like, gotta keep busy. I gotta go
powerful.
out. I gotta
so
go
powerful.
out. I gotta do. I gotta go out to for dinner with my friends. My life is busy. I'm too busy to deal with this stuff. I've got a good life.
So as you look at the camera, is there a mantra or two? Do you do some affirmational work or like an exercise we can take people through a little tiny bit, something that relaxes, that is like a breath work piece?
Sure.
Yeah, looking straight at it. You've got a beautiful face. I want them to see your face. So everybody, just be with us right now. We're just sort of, we're just doing this thing one moment at a time, just very spontaneously. I got a sense of, we got to take a few people through, we've got a number of people watching, take a few people through just a small, quick relaxation hit.
Okay, so this is my practice with embodiment and relaxing and getting out of my head started when I was 16 with a gift from my mother. My mother taught me some of this. And so it's been infused with other deeper work in Kashmira Tantra as well.
Nice.
My teachers.
How fortunate was that?
She helped save my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
She did.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, big gift from my mother.
What a gift. From Mama Ward.
I know.
Ward?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So just take a few deep breaths.
And take advantage of this, everybody. This is a moment where you're getting coached by a really amazing intimacy and relationship coach.
And just relax. Feel the chair behind you. And just notice what's there. And imagine your head now. Imagine it like a clenched fist. And just see if you can just unlock that clenched fist just a little bit more.
A little louder.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So unclench your fist. And now place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Unlock your jaw. Can you release the tension in your jaw just a little bit more? Ever so subtle. And as you're breathing, just notice the rhythm of your breath. Does it stop with your chest? Does it move the oxygen through to your belly? Just notice there's nothing to change, there's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to get to. Just be with your own natural rhythm of your breathing. And then move your attention to your shoulders and your neck. You may want to tighten them a little bit and then just release them ever so much more. And can you feel the support of the chair on your back? Feel that you are supported not only by the chair, but by the universe, by us. And just allow yourself to soften and sink a little bit more into that chair, knowing that you're safe, knowing that you're loved, knowing that you're here. Everything's right. And as you breathe in love and trust. And exhale whatever you need to let go of. Just notice if there's any fear, if there's any thoughts. What's this all about? Am I doing this right? And just let that go. It's your perfect practice. And now placing your right hand on your left side, on your heart. And just feel your own heart beating. And if you can't feel your heart beating, just imagine your heart beating as an expression of love and life and connection. Thank you for that.
That was so powerful.
Thank you.
That was so powerful. I just have to say, I just love that this has happened.
It's nice.
Yeah, it really is. Julie, tell us how we can find you. What's the most and easiest route to finding the beautiful you?
Well, right now, Facebook is my platform of advertising my heart.
Yes, yeah. And you have a website as well?
I do. I have a website, julieward.com. On my website, I've got, I call it Love Bites. Bites with a Y, like bites, like nanobites, right?
Sound
my
bites,
tech,
yeah.
sound bites, my techie side coming through.
Good.
I do have that background as well.
Oh, that's great.
So on there, there's interviews, there's podcasts, there's articles and things like that.
So people can access some info about you, and they can work with you. Do they travel out to you, or do you travel to them?
Do you know what? I had an office downtown Toronto on Carlton Street for many a time. And I have now, I'm all remote right now. So
great.
Sometimes I've actually done, depending on things, I've actually, with couples, gone into their homes. I do that too.
Or can they come out to you as well? No,
I will go to them.
Great.
But most of it's done through the phone or Zoom conference or video conferencing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So they get to be comfortable in their own home.
Exactly.
And you get to coach them in that way. That's a very safe experience, I think.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. And so julieward.com. And do you have in mind thoughts about teaching any kind of workshops? Because this lends itself so beautifully to that kind of thing.
It does.
I think.
I actually am having a women's program. It's a retreat in September 12th and 13th. I did one. I'm certified as a Wild Woman facilitator with my mentor. So I've been practicing doing, as a student for many years, and I got certified last summer as a Wild Woman facilitator with her modality. And I've done
Wild Woman facilitator.
Oh my God, it's like so rich. I did one last February with 12 women, which were all classically trained in very masculine orientated practices.
Okay.
So my practice, when I felt into the energy in the room, it was about letting go. It was about the resistance. Oh, the resistance. I'm a resistance fighter in a loving way.
I love that.
So it was wonderful.
And so people can find you at your website in order to be able to join you for this amazing workshop in September.
Yes. I'm a little bit negligent in not posting it. What I would say is go to my website. On my website, there's an opt-in for an ebook called Relationship Remedies. When you opt in, it puts you on my mailing list. And
That's
from
beautiful.
that, you'll see the advertisements for the workshops. It's there already.
Yeah.
So,
I love it. I love it. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I like to talk about on Courageous Conversations, because sexuality is something that many people, no matter how modern they are, feel taboo about. So this is an incredibly, in my opinion, a courageous conversation, but it's also a courageous topic. And opt in to Julie Ward's mailing list so she can tell you about her amazing work that she's doing. And I just want to say to everybody, you can find me. I just want to start to wrap our journey up. And you can find me at visualizationworks.com. I just want to say thank you so much for being here, because you really just provided so much content and I believe hope for people that might be experiencing sexual trauma and feeling like there's no way out. By the way, there is a way out, and it is
through.
Yeah, it is through. The way out is through. Exactly. So my website, visualizationworks.com, julieward.com. My opt-in, you get a free meditation, Heal the Hurt Child meditation that I've done here. Yeah, and it's a good one. So if you come to my website, if you click into the opt-in, you'll get the free meditation. And also, your ebook is called?
Relationship Remedies.
Relationship Remedies.
Yes.
Make sure you pick that up. And my book right here is Find Your Self Culture. My first book. Second book, Connecting, Rewire Your Relationship Culture. And please like my page, Courageous Conversations, if you like this experience. Please share it.
Page.
Thank you so much. Please like my page, Courageous Conversations. And also join my group, Positive Self Culture, Relationship Culture, and Family Culture, where we can support each other to heal the planet together.
Yeah.
All right.
And I want to say,
yes,
thank you so much. I have been watching and following, and you are a blessing to so many.
Oh,
an absolute blessing.
I'm going to cry. Thank you so much for saying that.
You're welcome. And, you know, there's only so far a coach can take people, and there is a need for deeper work more often than not. So by all means, you know, this, like what you have to offer and the depth of the work that you do with trauma and everything is so valuable. And what I love about you is you're so open and so safe, and you have a heart of gold, so people would be in good hands.
Thank you so much. I think the same of you, my dear. I think the same of you. And interestingly, Julie and I had similar training, which is just so interesting. We even had the
same teachers in some cases.
I know. In some cases, it's just, and we knew each other, but we didn't know the depth of how similar in so many ways our backgrounds are in terms of training and stuff. So that really is a beautiful experience, and I really appreciate you saying those heartfelt words, and I take them in to my very core, and I just am interested in us getting together and healing the planet in some ways, because the planet really needs us. And the more you fill your own being, the more you fill your own being, the more you are going to be ready and filled with vitality to help others. I'm not saying help others from an empty vessel. Fill yourself, heal yourself, work with someone like Julie, work with someone like me, read the books. You know, work on yourself. Don't be afraid to step into the healthy you. It's possible. It really is. And not only possible, it's, you know, it's right there for you. It's you're ready. Yeah, and sometimes we can't do it for ourselves because of where we're at. So do it for your relationship. Do it for your family. Do it for your children. Do it for those, because you're modeling. You're always modeling how to be in the world. And children don't follow your finger. No, they follow your actions. And your footsteps. That's good. They don't follow your finger, they follow your footsteps. I love that. Absolutely. Have a brilliant day. Be kind to yourself and to others. And just know that I'm thinking about you, and I'm coming at you tomorrow again with another courageous conversation about some really juicy topics. So tune in tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. and have a brilliant, brilliant day. All right. Okay. I'm going to hit the finish button. All right. Bye for now, guys.